Today marks a great day for me, for us in Pan-African Forum UK Limited. Stand above the threats, intimidation, blackmailing that people receive so as not to speak about what is happening in Somalia. The matter of the Somali link or Somalia link with Qatar must be discussed openly by countries that are taking part in Somalia. The pacification of Somalia, for Somalia to become a state again, there is a need for cooperation. The cooperation to bring about peace is more important than the cooperation of countries that are seeking minerals, diamonds, gold, oil, skins, animals, and the rest from Somalia. My organization does not have a share, neither is it seeking to get anything, but to have Somalia and to protect the Ugandan and the Kenyan troops, plus Burundian troops that have gone to do a good job in Somalia. Every time we hear reports of money laundering, some people think it is difficult to find out who has laundered which money, where and how. For us in Pan-African Forum UK Limited, we have networks that have exposed even the ICC before, and we have brought it to its knees for this type of money laundering. Qatar has become the main funder of terrorism in the world. We can now safely agree and safely agree to the people, the countries, especially those countries like Saudi Arabia that said Qatar is a terrorist organization. It's not a country. Qatar is funding terrorist activities, coming in as economic saviors of some countries in Africa, while they are sponsoring terror groups that are expanding on the coastal line of the Indian Ocean up to Mozambique. It is therefore my duty as an African and us as Africans to point out these mistakes, such that the people can take these mistakes, correct them, and point out to Qatar to stop funding terror activities. Two, it is also very important for the people of Kenya to know that Al-Shabaab, Eritrea, Ethiopia are trading out a deal that will leave Kenya and Uganda in a mess. It is important that Farimajo should not lie to you that he is not having these deals or these negotiations are not taking place. We have evidence, concrete in black and white, of these meetings that are taking place on a daily basis in one of the capitals of the world called Doha and Asmara. These meetings have been taking place, and they are taking place, and that is why the United Nations Security Council failed to condemn Al-Shabaab as a terrorist group. One would wonder, why condemn the Taliban? Why condemn Boko Haram? But failed to condemn Al-Shabaab, which has killed us Kenyans, killed us Ugandans, killed Somalis in hundreds and hundreds. Why? 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 Can a government of Farimajo guarantee our peace? The shooting down of a plane commandeered by Ethiopians who are guarding the ground at the flower, who were told the plane had a humanitarian agency, is very dangerous. There is no diplomacy here. The truth must prevail. Ethiopia should stop engaging itself in activities that are going to create hegemony of the what's hegemony in the region. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless Africa. God bless the Pearl of Africa. God bless Kenya. Keep our troops in Kismayo. Give them strength. Our troops in Mogadishu. Give them strength. We shall, tomorrow or days to come, talk to the owner of the plane that was brought down. We are going to expose all this. We have evidence. It's not local. It is inside. We know what happens and we know what is taking place. Farimajo, Hassan Hari have become axes of evil. Thank you. Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of United Kingdom in London, Political Command Center of Punchline Africa Television. We want to thank our viewers and apologize for the late delay because we were waiting for quite a number of other connections from Mogadishu that have not been able to be connected to our show. First of all, this show is Diplomatic Leaks, and I'm going to give a lecture of 20 minutes, about 20 minutes to 25 minutes on the question of Somalia. And then later on in the second hour, we go straight to discussing Somalia, the effects of the war, what strategy, what next, elections postponed. Is it also becoming another problem? Who is fueling the problem? Where is the problem coming from? Why is there no good blood between Kenya and Somalia? I've been a researcher. I've gone to court. I have tried to make sure that Kenya and Somalia come together, work as a team, work as African countries. But it looks like I have not been very successful in the sense that, I've not been very successful in the sense that I have not seen the results. Thank you very much. I would like to very much to see people when we are on the line. And I think it looks more audible on the TV when all of us are online and people are watching from abroad. Some complaints have come in that way. So unless you have a problem with your internet or whatever it is excusable. But if the internet is on, keep it on, so that they see the view and encourage more people to join us. So thank you very much. And here we are. On the panel today, we have Kirimi, Javani Karanja, Kidi Mwaga, and we shall be joined by Damaris too, who is from Eldoret in the heart of the Rift Valley, who will be joining us from now onwards. And thank you very much. She must be trying to link herself to us. The technical team will tell us in Nairobi. Viewers, that is the situation. And I don't know whether we have started, but are we on, Stephen? Are we on?
Yes. We are on.
Seen the signal yet. Thank you very much. This show is Diplomatic Leaks. In Diplomatic Leaks, we always bring in quite a lot of things that create Africa, that make Africa, we discuss Africa, we see what ails Africa. Why are there conflicts in Africa? Ladies and gentlemen, the panel and the viewers all over the whole world, as you are aware, Somalia fell into the abyss of conflict in 1991. Somalia was led by the late General Siad Barre, a very progressive leader who brought nationalism, a sense of nationalism, a Pan-African leader who kept Africa well organized. Somalia was a productive state on the shores of Indian Ocean in the Horn of Africa. Somalia is neighbored by Kenya, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and the Indian Ocean. Across the sea, in the Red Sea, we have Yemen, which has become a haven of ISIS and the Houthi rebels who have been fighting battles, overthrowing governments for many years. Yemen has not had any stability close to almost 20 years. The conflict, therefore, in the Great Horn of Africa presents a degree of understanding why the Horn of Africa is volatile. The conflict in the Indian Ocean, anywhere, the great trading route, the Red Sea route, the Suez Canal route, the Mediterranean route, right from Britain. I'm looking at the interests of the British because that is a place that is at my heart. It taught me English. This is the English I speak. It gave me food. That's the food I've eaten for 35, 36 years. I am more interested in them than I would be more interested in a small man in Africa called Museveni, because he never gave me food for 36 years. My interests, therefore, are British interests, trading interests, the interest of the British to make sure that there is smooth trade of Europe to the east. And that's why I stand as an icon of Pan-Africanism, at the same time defending Africa, but pointing out mistakes where Africa goes wrong. I stand as an icon of Pan-Africanism, but Pan-Africanism without criticism does not give you a degree of being an African. You must stand to criticize, to give solutions, to find avenues of resolving conflicts on this continent. We must make sure that Somalia returns to the nations of international community. We must make sure that we defeat the terrorists who have taken over Somalia, who have taken shelter in Somalia, their sponsors, their recruiters, those who radicalize the younger men. You must defend the culture. How do we exit? Many countries have gone in Somalia. Do we have exit strategy? Where is the exit strategy? And I want to inform the public, the people watching us, that the exit strategy is very paramount to entry strategy. I want to inform the public, therefore, that the events that are shaping in Somalia in Mogadishu under President Faramijo don't give us any hope of having a solution unless there is a change of government in Mogadishu. I want to submit, therefore, that the imaginary border disputes, imaginary rebel activities, imaginary rebel trained soldiers, armed rebels, as Somalia, Mogadishu imagines, these are problems of internal nature between the government of Juba and the soldiers of Somali-based Mogadishu government. These have nothing to do with Kenya. Kenya has not trained any troops, any rebels to invade Juba. This point and this conflict goes back to a very long time. When you look at who is this who pushed Somalia to go to the ICJ, it would be very foolish and naive for you people who are analyzing to come on this television station and fail to analyze how the soldiers, how the conflict between Kenya, the crisis between Kenya and Somalia started. The problem between Kenya and Somalia is based on two factors. Factor number one, external darker forces. Who are the external darker forces? The external darker forces are Qatar and Turkey. Added by two other countries. One is in Europe, two of them are in Europe and the European Union. That is Norway and France. Another country on the African continent that is involved directly, that is meddling directly in the affairs, controlling, supporting terrorists, Eritrea. The biggest problem with Africa is they don't speak the truth. We all know where the problem lies about Al-Shabaab, but we don't want to say it. We all know who is fomenting the chaos that we see in Mogadishu, but we don't want to say it. We all know who forced Somalia to go to the International Court of Justice to accuse Kenya for the oil blocks in the Indian Ocean, but we don't want to say it. We all know currently the government, a nation in East Africa that is controlling Farimajo in terms of security, advice, logistics, creating a Franz Fanon's theory of violence and the violence alone. That once violence is used, demonize Kenya, make Kenya a country not liked, disregard Kenya, allow belittle Kenya, tell Kenya, heap insults on Kenya. But we don't want to say it because we are threatened by terrorists or we are swallowed by money. Mr. Farimajo is a disgrace to the African Union that has sent its children, troops that are guarding him in Villa, Somalia. In the same parliament and the same government lies the head of Al-Shabaab. But we don't want to say it. This man has been part of parcel of Islamic courts. He turned into Al-Shabaab. His faction ended up being with those rebels, with terrorists, but he's still there. He links Al-Shabaab with Eritrea. It is a shame for Africa to sit down and watch, lament, write books of lamentation when these things are happening right now as we speak in Mogadishu. When one body, one life, 2 children, 5 children, people are being bombed down. When Somalia cannot control, cannot heal its people of COVID-19, when the money that is sent and pumped into Somalia is wasted corruptly by the leaders led by very much, when an election cannot be conducted in an atmosphere that deserves to return Somalia to normality, we don't want to speak about them. When the director of intelligence of Somalia launders money through states of Africa, especially in Uganda, works with Ugandan authorities to launder money through Qatar and brings the money, takes it to arm the same Al-Shabaab to kill us, we don't want to say. It is sad, therefore, that all this that are happening, that are taking place, there is a silence. Where did Kenya and the Somalia relationship go wrong? Viewers and my students listening, wherever, the whole world, wherever you are, where you are picking notes. Norway strategically took a position of having, under the Prime Minister, Hassan Harrier. Hassan Harrier, a Norwegian national, who created a company called Soma Oil and a gas company, took up a stand to sell the stake of the oil in Somalia in the Indian Ocean. The history is very long. I have investigated this company. Up to now, there is a serious investigation taking place in Britain to find out whether Soma Oil violated the international embargo situation, whether part of the money that Hassan Hadi received from Soma Oil paid terrorists who killed and who continue to kill people in the Great Lakes region, and especially in Somalia. Norway positioned itself, funded Hassan Harrier, the former Prime Minister of Somalia. As we speak today, the current Prime Minister of Somalia was a businessman whom we used to meet in Kempinski, going for his gym and other business meetings. He's now the current Prime Minister, whom we expected that when he returns to Mogadishu, would build up a good PR and a relationship between Kenya and Mogadishu. But that has not happened. Why? It's because of the same thread. And I will bring you to the thread later, my panel and other viewers. The thread, who is the thread of all these bad activities in this Great Lakes region? Believe me or not, from Central African Republic, from Juba, go to Juba, South Sudan, go to Democratic Republic of Congo, come to Mogadishu, Somalia. The thread remains 2 people, 2 countries. Or I can add the 3rd country, which has taken sides. That's why Kenya is being blamed over something that it has not done. As you are aware, there's Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. Uganda has troops in Mogadishu. They command, control the security of Mogadishu. Uganda has taken over the leadership, the security of President Farimacho. Uganda has taken over the advisory role, advising the president, training electoral commission of officials to steal. I don't know whether Uganda Electoral Commission can train any electoral commission in the world. It is up to the panel to tell me, especially Kirimi, to tell me whether Uganda can train any electoral commission to come and do elections in any of the country. I don't know whether Uganda can train any official against corruption so that he doesn't go and operate corruption in their country. The panel will tell me. When you look at the closeness, the close relationship between President Museveni and President Farimacho, I'm speaking openly as an academic. You will find that President Farimacho is now more linked to President Museveni than he is more linked to Kenya that has secured the port of Kismayo. The entry of Kenya into the Somali direct intervention. And I remember by resolutions of the United Nations Security Council, Kenya and the frontline states, which we call frontline states, were prohibited from entry into Somalia conflict. That was changed. Resolutions were passed in 2012, United Nations Security Council. Under the mandate of the Security Council, Kenya entered Somalia to protect its citizens and to protect the integrity, the porous border between Kenya and Somalia. That did not go down well. I don't want to talk lies because I want to talk so that security agencies, intelligence networks can pick up what is right, what is true, to correct. This lecture is for the security intelligence networks, for you to listen and see where the problem is coming from. We have AMISOM, of which we have all agreed that AMISOM, all Kenyan troops can act under AMISOM. But the founding countries that entered Mogadishu, Uganda and Burundi have not been very comfortable with the entry of Kenya. I think that's a very serious point that you must note as a panel and other people watching. Why President Museveni feels that why Kenya came in late is being given credit. The troops in Kismayo are very disciplined. There are no bombs blowing up in Kismayo on a daily basis. The port of Kismayo has returned to relative peace and safety. The disciplined soldiers of the KDF, the hard-working soldiers of KDF who have helped to integrate the Somali army, the Somali administration, the schools, the boreholes, the digging of boreholes, the doing of so many activities that return Somalia to normality has been done by the KDF. If you privately travel through to Kismayo, you will sleep relatively very humble. There is coolness, there is no hurry compared to the way you sleep in Mogadishu. This has brought enmity. This has brought envy. And any military leader like General Museveni will not be very pleased. He might not tell you on the top. I know my brother very well for a long time, since 1978 in Tanzania. we would leave, Obote would leave after briefing Nyerere. The man would sneak at night. Nyerere would listen to him at night. For people who don't know, you better take history. That he would listen at Museveni at night. Nyerere listening to Museveni at night without Obote. That's why we formed the two forces of Chikosi Maalum 208 KJ as opposed to Fronasa. So for those who don't know, who are just coming in, gathering information, you better know the root causes. That there is a double standard that is being played on Farimajo. During that time, we are all East African community, IGAD, and so on and so forth. At night, Kenya is not a very good person. That is going to happen, and it will happen. On this show, I was very candid and I told the people that they will export terrorism to so many places, including Mozambique. As we speak today, some 5 years ago, I went into Tanzania. When I was in Hotel Hyatt, one of the best hotels in Tanzania. What I saw there, I asked my Tanzanian former director of intelligence, who was my great friend, the late, he died, and I had been invited by the minister, Mahiga, who also died. I asked them, why are these people, what are they doing? What is this rere, the road which is being dug to nowhere? Have you ever seen a road being dug to nowhere? Who are these digging a road to nowhere? If you are saying you are digging a road to Ruvuma, there must be a corresponding road or rail across in Mozambique to take the goods to Beira or to take the goods to Maputo. But if it is Tanzania digging the road to nowhere, there must be a security, and a security analyst like me. I will sit down and analyze as to why there is a fight. What are the French doing? I told them, Total Oil. I told the foreign minister, the then foreign minister of Tanzania, my friend, Dr. Mahiga, may his soul rest in peace. In Hyatt, over in a Chinese restaurant, first floor where we are eating, I said, you will ask me this later. Unfortunately, 5 years today, he's nowhere to ask me, but I'm here to tell you the story that there were many French operatives of Total Oil, which is linked to Qatar. The fighting in Mozambique is Qatar that has sponsored terrorists to go and take over Mozambique. The northern part of Mozambique, which leads to Zimbabwe. When you come back, where are these people? Where did these people get the uniform? That's enemy number one. Why Farimajo has changed. Let's not forget the point that I was making. That Farimajo has changed his modus operandi. He has a new advisor. A military man you cannot show. A man who can lock an innocent boy of 38 years in a house and not allow him to go out to eat food. So he can lock even a president, Farimajo, in a toilet. He's the one guarding him. If you look at the guards, some of these young men are our relatives. They work in Mogadishu. They phone us and they say we are in Villa, Somalia. We are guarding the president. The elite group has been made to guard the president. Special mercenary force. Advisors are from the same elite force. What does Kenya expect? Animosity. Yet Kenya bears the brunt of the many Somalis who have run away, who do their businesses, who have been given tranquility in this country. The next country that has killed Somalia is Eritrea. And I'm going to be very frank, because if I'm an African of 65 years and I don't tell the younger men of Kirimi of 31, 32, Karanja 29, I will be very stupid and mentally deranged if I don't speak the truth. Where does Al-Shabaab get the uniforms? Explain it to me where they get new uniforms and where they get new arms. Some of the governments, some of the countries have only AK-47, but Al-Shabaab has new ones. Where do they get them? There must be a merchant. There must be people giving them these arms. Which port allows the clearance of such uniforms? Eritrea. My brother Efaki, we worked together in London. Myself, Isaiah Efaki, Dr. Dr. Tedros. You know, you people might think this is just a story. Dr. Tedros, the head of World Health Organization, and Zenawi. If any Ugandan doubts, you can check Dr. Nambago. I was the vice chairman of Uganda Community Relief Association in the United Kingdom. From 1987, 89, 90, 91, when the war of Ethiopia erupted, I was one of those logistics having had a military background who overthrew Mengistu Haile Mariam. I helped Zenawi and my brother Efaki and Tedros. Tedros is not a civilian. He's Commander Tedros. He was our youngest person amongst us. When I heard that Tedros has taken over World Health Organization, those who have been following my program will know that what I told you. I told you it's a disaster. And it is indeed a disaster. You'll see what the World Health Organization, we didn't know that there was corona until February. Yet corona struck in China in December. If we are told that corona is transported by planes, which African would fly to China? Which Chinese would allow, or which African country would allow Chinese plane to land? We are not told. Tedros, the story of Tedros is very disheartening. But today, let me stick to Mr. Isaiah Efaki, the president of Eritrea. Don't tell me any lie, because I don't speak lies. The man behind all these schemes is him. Can somebody tell me why Somali troops are being killed in Tigray, in North? I told you on this same program, I said as long as Ethiopia goes in bed with Farmajo, Kenya will have enemies coming every time. That's another country. If Eritrea knows who the terrorists are, don't tell me Eritrea doesn't know. Then where do these uniforms come from? Where Anybody watching this, tell me the truth. Where do you get these uniforms? New ones. AK-47, new ones. Better equipment. From where? You must, if you hit, you run where? You sleep in a cave? AMISOM has been in Somalia for how long? Why is it that AMISOM cannot go to these caves and find out where these men are? They must be having a place where they run to. Then they plot to come to finish us. And we are here clapping hands with these countries, welcoming them, shouting, even saying hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. How do you continue saying hallelujah? How long are you going to say Allah, Allah, help me, Allah? Yet the same countries are the ones butchering you. Country number 3 is, as I finish, country number 3 is Ethiopia. The difficulties of President or Prime Minister Abiy, and I've told you before, anybody who gets a Nobel laureate, any of them, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, either has to leave power quickly, like a Mandela, or he's removed, or he's shot. He cuts short his journey and the presidency or prime minister. You remember Mandela cut short his second term. He did not want to go. Is there any South African who would have refused Mandela from becoming the president for the second term? The panel, is there anybody? People would have not refused Mandela. They would have given him overwhelming support. But because, and I want you to take this very serious, Nobel Peace, Mandela saw the danger of being compromised. If you look today of being compromised, if you look today of the South Africans who are still in shanty towns, you would thank Chris Hani for having said, let's deal with this matter once for all while the iron is still hot. Can we put a nail in it when it is still hot? But Chris Hani was assassinated, killed by the same dark forces that did not want his voice to be heard. Coming back to Ethiopia, how does it affect the relationship between Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya? On several occasions, Kenyan airplanes have been downed as they either take off or they want to land in Somalia. I have not seen any conclusive report except acceptance that has been coming from the Kenyan, from the Ethiopian authorities and the Somali civil aviation authorities saying the plane was mistakenly hit by troops that we didn't know who they are, but they are in the sector of Ethiopia. So what does that mean to Kenya? Kenya does not have any rebels that it has sent to Jubaland. The rebels that are fighting Mr. Farimajo is because of the election manipulation, the timelines of elections, the tricks that has been taught by the Ugandan Electoral Commission body, who cheat elections during their time, who transferred the data. The data now I've discovered the data from the Uganda elections was transferred to the military headquarters before it was given to Chigundu to announce, to Mr. Judge Byamukama, an empty mouth, hollow mouth, announcing results that were being doctored in the military headquarters. So here we are. How can those people teach Somalia to have democracy? Farmajo is facing an internal rebellion, not external rebellion from Kenya. Farmajo is trying to put Kenya at crossroads from the eastern flank, while in Kiguta Valley and the Kapedo Valley, there is something very dangerous. And I want to take this opportunity to alert the security agencies, especially the Kenyans, that they should be very careful about the developments in Kapedo Trial. They are linked. 4 months ago, 200 well-armed Ugandan ex-combatants broke the prison and ran away. Has somebody sat down and found out where these 200 well-armed, well-trained ex-convicts, ex-soldiers, where they are? If you haven't found out, find out very quickly. And don't blame me for saying the truth. Ugandan authorities have not told us how many they have captured, how many they have recovered, how many guns they have recaptured. The people have disappeared. The only last time that we had was to say they killed 2 or 4, but the rest out of 200 or more, we don't know. The number that was said was 200. It could have been more. And these are hardcore, ex-trained military people who disappeared. Or overnight, with 200 guns, and they went. Today, we are losing lives in Kapedo Trial. Daytime, daytime, people who can ambush a police vehicle, kill the officers, must be well-trained people. Cattle rustlers come for cattle, but they don't target the police personnel. But what is the rationale of targeting, creating a front line? Why is it that the governor of Turkana is very linked to Ruto, but does not want to address the problem of insecurity of Kapedo? Have you ever asked that? Are the security agencies aware of what is going on? Who is fueling this between the Pokot and the Turkana and other mercenaries? Are there other mercenaries? Why is the politics of inflammatory statements of wheelbarrow, of what will you do? Why are they there? Can you link yourself that there is plan B? Some people are not bothered. Why would you? Why would you actually stand on a microphone and insult the president of your country in broad daytime near Dagoretti? Call him names when he's watching. I want people to tell me this. There must be a plan B. What will he do? A daring man who wants leadership. A daring man like Emperor Nero, who prays with Christians, praises them for having brought a new Christianity, and calls for fire to come to Rome, to consume Rome, then turns around and says, why did the fire come when you told me that the fire comes from God? When the mother turned and said, my son, don't kill these people, Emperor Nero killed the mother. I submit, therefore, that the conflict between the alleged rebel forces being trained in Kenya to go and attack Somalia are funded by Farmajo to take pressure away from his internal problems, because he's being manned, logistically being manned, supplied, guarded by President Museveni's elite forces in Somalia. They are their advisors. And you can conclude, if they can even detain a man himself who has got 3.3 million votes, you detain him and tell him not to come out of his house to go and urinate if the toilet is blocked. So what do you expect this guy if he got a leader as weak as Farmajo? The last point that I would like to make is the situation of the oil bridges. The oil ridges, the situation of the oil ridges in the Indian Ocean. As you are aware, we have not finalized the matter of the oil ridges or blocks in the Indian Ocean. We expect quite a lot of difficulties this year. I would like to ask Kenya to use the United Nations Security Council, and I'm myself now going to, this week or next week or this week, I'll write that there is a need to defer of such a case, that it should not come in anywhere near the courts, because it will bring insecurity in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit therefore that Kenya does not have any intentions of having rebels that could attack. But the rebels that are attacking, the fighting is between Somalia army and the Jubaland armed forces. That is the fight that is in Somalia. How Kenya plays a role of exit strategy before Somali nationalism captures it is another subject of the day. I thank you very much, viewers and the panel. I'm ready in for questions, mostly. Ask anything that you do not want to know, or you do not get properly. If you want to make a small contribution, you have less than a minute to make each. Let's make it 1 minute. Let's not make it long. Thank you very much. I begin with Douglas Kirimi Bundi. And then I will come to Karanja. You will be our last man from Nanyuki. I will come to the smiling lawyer all the way in CPD Nairobi. Then I come to Nanyuki, and anybody else out who has an idea from Mogadishu, you are welcome. The number, you can pick it and enter to contribute. There is no need of insults. We speak the truth only. The fighting is between Jubaland forces of Somalia with Somalia army. That's it. There is no rebel force fund. That is just a smoke screen of President Farmajo to underhook an imaginary war that does not exist in the region. Thank you. Karim.
Thank you, Dr. Masanga. And mine is a question. It's a two question that I need to ask you on the issue of Somalia. One is on the issue of the oil blocks in Indian Ocean. And we know that the Somali people have gone to International Court of Justice, and we expect that verdict to be out. And also, why is the world silent on the issue of oil blocks in the Indian Ocean? And why would the world, especially the UN and also the EU themselves, are quiet when Kenya is being drawn into disarray over the oil blocks? Another question is, why is the EU and also the UN not putting sanctions on President Museveni for the issues in Mogadishu? We have seen President Museveni perpetuate his dictatorship in Mogadishu and also continue butchering and also killing of the people of Somalia, and especially protecting a president who is a sympathizer of Al-Shabaab. Remember, this is an extremistic group, a very dangerous group of people who are killing people, and also the same people are in government in Somalia. This president from an East African country is perpetuating the same war in Somalia using his stooge, President Farmajo. And why would we not bring him to book? If we cannot be able to bring him to book internationally, why is the US quiet? Why is the UN quiet? And also the EU, they know who is behind the chaos in Mogadishu today. The people of Mogadishu cannot enjoy peace. Dr. Masanga, those are my two questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Kidi.
Daktari, thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. My first question is, traditionally, Kenya has served as a stabilizing factor and force in the East African region. Today, you have pointed out that there are powers that are beyond East Africa that are then behind Somalia's belligerent diplomacy lately. The question is, what do they stand to gain with a weakened Kenya's position in East Africa? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Karanja.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr.
Today we have changed the format. You can see we can learn quite a lot so that tomorrow you can yourselves with Miriam and other people have a chat when you have known some of these answers. And I'm going to answer them candidly. Yes, Karanja.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. David Matsanga, for the great insights that you have given us and for educating us and pointing out things that many people will not bring into limelight. And we are educating and we are learning a lot. And I would like to ask you a question. I know it's a permanent issue that is between Kenya and Somalia. And we have our troops in Somalia. And I would ask you as a conflict expert, which strategy will Kenyan government use to stabilize the peace in Uganda? Does it mean adding more troops, or what is the strategy that can Kenya use as the best country, as a development center, as a country that seems to be the hub of development and democratic space in East Africa? What is the role of Kenya in stabilizing the issue in Somalia and bringing sanity in aspects of elections and so on in Mogadishu? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the Kidi. Weekend Kenya. A weekend Kenya. And I told you about the envy, cheap jealousness. You remember? When Kenya went into Somalia, the countries that were there, Uganda, Burundi, were not very comfortable. Ethiopia was not very comfortable because they went there to stabilize. At the beginning, they thought Kenya would fail in stabilizing the Jubaland and the Kismayo. At the beginning, they thought there would be a lot of Al-Shabaab killing Kenyan troops and blood all over. These attacks were repulsed. Kenya went in with several strategies: mobilize, educate, health care, welfare, water, sanitation. This is what the Kenyan troops are doing in Somalia. But the exit, the weakening, what can happen if we allow the region to be infiltrated by the central Mogadishu Al-Shabaab, where we have more troops and more mechanized systems. As you are aware that most of the troops are hitting the central part, which is in Mogadishu, but not Kismayo. The other part, Puntland, is peaceful. What explains that? There must be a country that is failing in arms to discredit the issue of Mogadishu, so that Mogadishu does not stabilize and they continue to stay there. Because the more they stay in Mogadishu, Ugandan troops are paid. So if Mogadishu comes to relative peace like a Kismayo, where will Ugandan troops get the money? So we are commercially also in Somalia for commercial purposes. We are being paid plenty of dollars in US dollars, green dollar, green, not your local currency of Uganda. And this money is paid directly to His Excellency President Museveni. To be honest, it goes there, then they dispute. The people in Mogadishu don't get salary. Their money is kept on accounts back in Kenya. In Uganda. I have about 28 men who speak in my same language. Some of them are officers. Some of them say, help. If you are in Kenya, send M-Pesa. Or if you are in London, send a pound to my family. When I come to Uganda, I will draw the money and I give you. You can see that is how things are. So the situation is a weakened Kenya would be very good for a stronger Uganda. Have you seen the link? That's why a weakened Kenya, I think that is your question.
Yes.
A weakened Kenya, a Kenya that pulls out of Somalia,
yes,
will be good for a stronger Uganda that will say we can now take over that sector. You remember Farimajo's is asking Kenyan troops to leave.
Yes.
And whom does he want the troop? Which troops does he want to replace?
Uganda.
And the Ethiopians. So you can see the rivalry, a silent war, a cold war among the AMISOM groups has also surfaced. Therefore, my maintenance, I maintain and I submit, Kenya has a role to play since it has a porous border with Somalia. I hope I have answered your question. If there is any supplementary, you will have parting shot. Karanja, you have talked of exit. What exit strategy? And I want to teach people here three things. Three things: the head, the heart, and the stomach. If you want to heal a conflict, you must change the mind of the radicalized people. You must change the heart of the radicalized people. And you must give them food. Chakula. Eh? There is no revolution in the world that does not have what we call people's gains. Have you seen one? All of you, I believe you are students of history. If you are not students of history, I am a student of history, both European history and the world history and the Great Lakes region. When the kingdom and African history, when the kingdoms of Oyo, Ashanti collapsed, there were people who gained. Eh? There were people who gained. If a regime collapses, there are people who gain. During 1979, when Amin collapsed, the people who came from Tanzania, some of them became multimillionaires. There were people's gains. So any exit must be accompanied by the head, the heart, and the mind. You can't have an exit without those three. Okay, the case of Somalia. If Kenya wanted to exit, how does it exit? It would exit by first providing food, which Kenya is doing. It would exit by first training, changing the hearts of the radicalized youth by putting things on the ground. It can only exit when the minds of the people, mindset of those radical Islamists have come to reality that peace is better than war. So if you want to exit Somalia, you need to create a situation, an environment where these younger men, the youth, have something to do. For example, we have millions of youths stranded in Somalia. They don't have jobs, but they see a lot of ships coming in Kismayo, in Mogadishu, in all their ports, collecting fish. Why can't we get refrigerated containers and ask for the guns? If you bring us 250 guns, we give you a 20-foot container and a boat and a net for you to go to inside the Indian Ocean to fish. Karanja, you asked for this question. I hope you are listening. To fish and sell the fish, put the fish in a refrigerated container. When the Filipinos come, Chinese come, Japanese come to buy fish, you sell them the fish. In this circumstance, you will get activities. Listen to me. You will get activities. You will get payment. There will be employment for the youth. There will be employment. Therefore, there will be no terrorist, isn't it? There will be no terrorist. You have created employment. But if you exit for the sake of exiting, you will be leaving a vacuum. So Kenya cannot exit without creating conditions for exit. And the stabilization. And the word that Kenya is seeking to do is pacification. Pacification of Somalia into a state liked by the entire world. If you have any comment, you will make it in your parting shot. But so far, I hope I have convinced you on the head, the heart, and the stomach. 3 components. You must change the head, the heart, and the stomach. If the man is not eating, you can't tell him the heart will function. If the heart is not functioning, the head cannot think. Lastly, the oil blocks and the silence of the UN and the AU. The AU is already in Somalia. The UN is already in Somalia. But to what extent are they very active? Do they point out to mistakes in Somalia? Or they help to increase mistakes? For example, this case between Kenya and Somalia on the oil blocks should not have gone there. If AU and UN had influence over Somalia government, this case would have been solved by the agencies without going to an arbitration panel, which could make a decision that could be very catastrophic for both countries. Therefore, it is my take, Kirimi, that the oil blocks in the Indian Ocean should be left as they are, as they were created. And the two countries come out, sit on a table to hammer how they will share the proceeds of the oil riches. Less than that, if you make a decision, a ruling, if there is a ruling against any of the state, either Kenya or Somalia, there will be blood in Indian Ocean. That's my submission. Thank you very much. And I believe we have changed the model and we are quick. We are finishing on time. I just want to give Kidi Mwaka 1 minute for closing remarks.
Yes, thank you very much, Daktari, for highlighting these fundamental issues when it comes to the stability of this region. We know that today, to this extent, in the past 2-3 decades, Kenya has played a pivotal role in ensuring that there is peace and stability in this region of the world, in the Horn of Africa region, in the East African region. And that is a role that we can now not afford, a responsibility that we cannot shirk today. Going forward, I hope you will let us understand how Kenya can stand up to bullies who are working with countries like Somalia and Ethiopia and Uganda to diminish its role, knowing so well that creating a new center of power like Somalia and Uganda would also mean that there is greater instability, because powers working with such countries would be working not in the interest of the people of this region, but for the interest of the presidents of those countries, which may not necessarily translate to the interest of the ordinary people in this region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now give Karanja to make his final submission. Anybody who is outside there like the rude moral, don't insult us. Just ask me any question. If you feel I don't know the question, I will answer you. Remember, I am a student of international relations, of which Somalia is not very new. Most of the MPs in Somalia, I'm the one who filled their forms in English language in the United Kingdom when they came to apply for asylum. So I don't know whether you know that. If you didn't know that, they all know me. The only person that I'm not happy with is Farimaju. I know Hassan Sharif Hassan. Hassan Sharif Ahmed Sharif Ahmed. I know him, the former president. He knows me. If you ask me, he doesn't need to say who is that. So I have been there. I've been in Mogadishu. I know what I'm talking about. I've been in Mogadishu in 2001, 2002 with Sky News and ITN. I've been there 2004 when the Islamic courts were in power. So I know what is taking place. So don't think that I'm asking or speaking from the point of ignorance like you are. So thank you. Karanja.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. David Matsanga, for opening our eyes and to our viewers and across the continent of Africa on the underlying issues that affect the relationship between Kenya and Somalia. And today we are quite educated and we know who is fueling the fight and which countries are envy of the development that we have in our country, and the role that Uganda and Ethiopia are playing to ensure that this country called Kenya is not at its peak, because we are the hub of development in East African continent, East African community. We are the people who, in terms of democracy, we are far ahead. And that is why maybe in one way or the other, they have a bad eye on the kind of development that we have. Therefore, and I agree on the issue that you have given us about the exit strategy that Kenya needs in Somalia. I asked that question because there have been calls from various political players in the country who calls Kenya to exit or to take troops from Somalia. But today I'm satisfied with the response that you have.
I want, Karanja, I've lost you, but I want to correct that Ahmed Sharif, I met him in Mogadishu, not the UK. So you are very wrong, Mr. What is his name? Mr. Emre Yunus. I met him when I was a Sky News Africa consultant for Sky News. I went there with Lindsay and Sky News and ITN to interview him. So I think you are one of the most disorganized chat members. So Karanja, finish. And we welcome you to our show. Thank you for watching. All your comments have been taken as positive and the learning comments. Karanja, you have finished your comments.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I was saying that thank you for the exit strategy that you are given. And that's a strategy I recommend it to other countries that have their troops in Uganda, in Somalia, or other countries where they have this kind of chaos. That is the best strategy, and I'm satisfied. Thank you for educating us. And Kenya should not sleep. Kenya should continue working to ensure that these countries and this East African community is stable, because a destabilized Somalia means that we have refugees in the country, we have displaced Somalia in our country, and they will affect our businesses, and they will affect how we do our things here. Therefore, we pray that we have a stable Somalia and a stable East Africa community so that we develop as a region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lastly, Douglas Karimi, take it away, boss.
Thank you, Dr. David Matsanga.
Douglas Kirimi, Douglas Bundi Kirimi.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. David Matsanga.
I'll call you Comrade Kirimi.
I'm your son. Thank you, Dr. David Matsanga from the Political Command Center in London, and also to my friends and for their contribution, and for Dr. David Matsanga for opening up the eyes of Kenyans, and also the eyes of East Africans, and also the people of the world, and also Africa at large, so that we can see the role that General Museveni is doing, is performing in Somalia. I didn't know that the soldiers in Somalia being mistreated, that he is eating their money. How can they go protect Palmajo and they continue taking poor people's and also young soldiers' monies? And also, I hope that General Museveni will be brought to book for his heinous acts in Mogadishu, and also for his own self-interest. We have known that the country of the Republic of Kenya has been on the forefront to pacify the peace in Somalia and also bring order in that country. But for General Museveni, it is for his own personal interest, and also for the people of the world, and also for those people that want to feign more war in Somalia for them to continue benefiting. It is the high time we expose them. This is the year. This is the year of the truth. And also this is the year that the world knows the true character of Amajo and who fund him. And we also hope to see more progress in terms of what our security agencies are going to gather concerning the issue in Somalia. Because the people of Somalia are being held at ransom by a group of people, a group of corrupt and also self-interest red people in Somalia who are going to bring that country into more chaos since 1991, since the fall of Siandi Balé Maslaha. But at the end of the day, what we want as the people of goodwill in the world, as the people of Africa, as Pan-Africanists, is that the people of Somalia will enjoy more peace. Thank you so much, Dr. David Matsanga. I hope our security agencies will pick up that. And also, the world at large, the UN, the EU, will continue and be able to pacify the peace in Somalia and pick what they need to do, because what I see is sign shows that we see on the issue in Somalia, and I hope they are going to act on the real issue so that we can be able to conclude this matter as soon as we can, so that we can move on as Africans and even the people of the world. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, our students watching, studying diplomacy, security in all universities, those who are at home. This show is always brought for some of the students who are not able to be at the campus. Believe me or not, many people benefit out of some of the small factors that and the facts we bring. And I want to tell you, we have educated very many silent majority. Some of them who don't come to insult us, but understand. But Museveni's contribution to Mogadishu peace is immense. Yes, I agree. And I want to tell you, I agree with you, it is immense. But also, there is jealous. There's envy, which you can't rule out of President Museveni. I don't think Juma Smith, you know Museveni more than I do. I don't think you have been in the same andach, a same fighting ground of Chikosis. I was in the Chikosi room 208 kg. President Museveni was in Pronasa. And we know each other. We know what happened when we reached the Chikagati on the border between Uganda and Tanzania. We told him to go towards the west, towards Mbarara. And I don't know whether you know that. I don't want to bring the wounds that will shock Kenyans today. But when we marched towards Masaka, on our way into Masaka, we had, by then there were no mobile phones, but our radio calls and that were telling us there was a real massacre on the other side, and Tanzanian troops had to change the course. We got there to rescue some residents of Mbarara and some areas of that area whom we wanted to protect, because the man did not want them to exist. So all this cannot be said in one day. And another point that I want to bring to you is, for me, with Museveni, I had peace. The war had gone on for a long time. You have seen the photograph there. For the first time, for us, when you shake hands, I believe in your Somali, we shake hands, we don't come back with fists. Every tribe, I think. When you have shaken hands with somebody, you keep that hand always open, not this. So in 2008, I brought down the curtain. The war ended. Uganda is peaceful. The election is of course stolen. And I told you my stand on Ugandan elections. Don't ask me too many questions, because my stand was it will be stolen. And another stand about Uganda elections is that instead of having elections, let's have the Vatican style of selection. When the white smoke arrives in the roof and the doves can fly, and we see which dove is flying better, we choose that one. Can anybody on the panel explain to me why they fly the dove? Any Catholic on the panel? The doctrine of flying the dove and the white smoke. It has stabilized the Catholic Church. Why white smoke? Is a symbol of unity. Have you ever seen it when it goes to the air, it becomes white anymore? Do you see it again? Where does it go? You need a lot of lessons from me. And indeed, you better hear that instead of Uganda holding elections, just hold the Vatican style of selecting the leader, either when he has died or is senile, he can't speak, or he has resigned. Don't waste money for elections. The report I have about Uganda elections makes me very scared. What happened the man was asked, if the internet is not there, how are you transmitting the results? So today, the military, the Uganda UPDF, has gazetted that anybody in Uganda using VAP, you know VAP? VAP, that internet, you know it? VPN, sorry, will be arrested and maybe even beaten and the bones will break. Do you know why? If you go to VPN, you will find all the hallmarks of how the transmission took place. You get, you get my point? So they have now told any Ugandan found with VPN, ndani. But we got all those samples long time ago. They are in London. Thank you. So it is a long order. The courts have now ruled. The African Union, Mr. Ramaphosa has sent a message as the head of the African Union asking President Museveni to adhere to the courts and release Chagulan without any conditions. I can read it for you because I know you are interested. No, the leader of South African opposition party, Momusi, he said, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, then you have chosen the side of the oppressor. With that, we close our show this afternoon. I wish you good luck, all of you. I wish you, those who will return at 3 a.m., our sign, all of us, like this. Let the camera take us. Yes, that is the sign. Thank you very much. It means we shall, one day we shall rise and take off. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. God bless you.
must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.